Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of the social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, looking at the economic calendar, we have a few things to look at. One, we have OPEC this week, and there's been a lot of things going on with oil, so that could affect the market. Plus, COVID, the new COVID strain, because we had the Friday sell-off on that. But we have Powell speaking Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's testifying. So he's testifying at weird times. Monday, it's at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he's testifying on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And on Wednesday, he's testifying at 10 a.m. So, yeah, two 10 a.m.s. And then Monday is the one he's speaking more towards the end of day. That will probably be a good one. 3:05 power hour on Monday. Hopefully he'll say something stupid or say something that will scare the market or make the market freak out or something, because I like those last hour plays. They end up being the biggest risk reward plays. So maybe he'll say something that will make things interesting. So then we get non-farm and unemployment on Friday. So it's going to be a pretty big week now. You need to be in the room because the gap downs and the gap ups do change the play significantly, as Friday did. You had a massive gap down because, like I said, COVID. So any big gap downs or gap ups, you need to be in the room to understand what we're going to be playing, because it does change the whole dynamic of the play. So I have Roku up, but I mean, I'll talk about SPY. I mean, SPY had a nice little bearish engulfing on the weekly, but we'll have to see what happens, because I mean, I look at it from the point of view, you had a bearish engulfing weekly candle right here, and it just rocketed the next week. So I mean, here it dropped a little bit, then it regained. So I don't put too much weight into these bearish engulfing candles on the weekly. I mean, yeah, it could pull back. We could have more of a COVID scare and stuff like that. But I don't know. Anytime you have these bearish engulfing candles, they're, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And they end up usually recovering in the next week or two. So I'm not expecting a big pullback. But if there's more COVID news, that the vaccines don't work or something like that, more lockdowns, yeah, we'll definitely go down and probably see 450 or something. But we'll have to see what happens and see what the news delivers and how the market reacts, and that's why you need to be in the room. So I'm anticipating, unless news comes out, I'm anticipating that SPY could end up recovering Monday, so depends on how it gaps up or gaps down. I'd be watching for over 458 for a push to 460, 462, 464. I mean, when SPY starts getting momentum behind it, it could start really squeezing. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the news is not bad or anything Powell says is not bad. We could squeeze all the way to 462 plus or something on Monday. So, but Powell end of day, that's going to be the real concerning factor. So now I have a couple on the bearish side, more on the bullish side for recoveries, but I'll go on the bearish side first because I don't have that many. BA is one of them. BA. Why is that not working? Okay, let's try this again. Okay, now BA, I'm looking at it from the point of view because of travel lockdowns, travel restrictions and stuff like that. That did, crush BA last time. And if it does manage something to happen like that, it could end up, taking another big dump. So plus right here, it's at the weekly support of the 160, 190. Is this 192 area? So it gets below this 194 area, because this is what, 194 right there. This is 194. Okay, I misread it. It's 194. It gets below this 194. We could actually see it could gap down gap fills down here in the 168, 165 area to could push down to 150, but we'll have to see what happens as far as travel restrictions and stuff like that. But BA, the travel stocks like Delta, United Airlines, stuff like that, the airlines will end up getting crushed, and then hotels and stuff like that, like Booking and Expedia and stuff like that, will probably end up getting hurt. But QCOM is another one I'm watching. Now I'm watching this because it's so exaggerated the move. I mean, it's way outside the Keltner channel on the weekly and daily. It came back in a little bit on the daily right here. The weekly's still out. Anytime it has these exaggerated moves, it likes to pull back, and the RCT trend line's back here down in the 157, 160 area. So I would be watching QCOM underneath, we'll say, underneath 175 for push to 170 and down 160. And get gap support right down here at the 155 area, 154. Will likely probably hold and try to bounce. Probably put in a head and shoulders. You get a little left here, right here, left shoulder, head. And if it comes back down here, it can make a right shoulder, then make the gap fill. So I think that QCOM could end up, retracing a little bit, coming back down to 160. We'll have to see if that actually happens. DLTR. Now, I know DLTR Dollar Tree has been doing really, really well lately because of Christmas and stuff like that, and it had good earnings report. But I'm expecting it to come back down. The RSI on the weekly is 80. What was the RSI on QCOM on the weekly? I didn't even look at that. See, it's coming back in. So right here it was, anytime it got over this 75 area, it came back, dumped a little bit. So, but yeah, DLTR, I think that the RSI needs to cool off a little bit. It's just way up there. I just think that it gets below this 140 area. I'd watch for a push to the 135, 130. Then you get gap support right here in the 120 area. So usually what ends up happening is that when they break out, they like to come back and retest the area they broke out of, which is the 120. So we could actually see Dollar Tree pull back to 120. And that's what I am looking at. So another one I'm watching, obviously Roku. This is the bullish side. Roku has just been one that we're watching for weeks, and I just can't believe that it's even under 300. It's going to end up making a violent bounce. Just timing it's going to be tricky. I mean, it did come back down here to the 230 area, 225 area, then it bounced to 225. So Roku's going to end up having one of these monster weeks right here where it went from like 363 to 431. You're talking an $80 move in a week. I mean, Roku, it can have $20, $30, $40, even $50 days. I mean, this right here, what is this candle right here? This is 426. This is almost a $50 candle right here. So if Roku can get any momentum behind it, it could easily go a lot. You could see it above 300, 350 in a flash. So I would not count Roku out. Roku's float's pretty low too, and plus look at the RSI on Roku on the weekly. The weekly, it's below 30, and the last couple of times it got down this low, it had violent bounces there and right here, this is the COVID. So and also considering that SPY gap down quite a bit, Roku did really well. So I would watch it over. Let's see, the 3 Fridays high. We'll say 330, 236. I mean, you can also see an inverted head and shoulders on the arrow. You get the left, the head, and the right shoulder right here. Over 240. You can say 238, 240. It's going to push to 250, 260, 270. It's going to be 280 in a flash. I mean, I've been saying this for weeks. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but this is just, Roku's going to make that massive move, and I want to be in it when it does. And that one day I'm not in it is the day it's going to happen. So I'm sure people in the room are going to be, don't play it, so I'll have its big day. But PayPal, another one I have. It likes to bounce in this 184 area, right here, 180 area right here. So it bounced here and here. So this is a pretty significant drop on PayPal. Plus, it's down at the RSI is below 20, 25. Then you have a bullish divergence, bullish, not bearish, bullish divergence right here. The RSI is actually flat to slightly up as it's making lower lows. So that is a nice bullish divergence going on PayPal. Plus PayPal, I don't imagine it's going to have that much of an effect with with COVID because they're online payment merchants. So they stores like eBay and stuff like that will do well. Should do pretty good. Plus Christmas time. I'm expecting PayPal to have a nice recovery. Target is another one. Target does not care what SPY is doing. Target can go up when SPY is going down. It does it all the time. So I'd watch it over the 250 area for a push to 255, 260, 265, and all-time high is like 268, 267. So we could actually see a nice reversal in Target, so I'd watch Target. Now, one of the things I'm looking at is ATVI, Activision. I know they haven't been doing that great, but with COVID, there's more lockdowns happen and COVID starts ramping up a little bit. This could end up reversing. Plus, the weekly RSI is really, really low. Last time it was just low on the weekly, was back over here, and it ended up recovering. So I don't usually play Activision. I think I've only played it like maybe once or twice. But for the people that like playing these ones, I don't know if I'll even play it. I don't know. I end up focusing on SPY a lot. So I'm putting it out there in case somebody else wants to grab it. This could be a nice swing, a long-term swing or something like that. It's up to you. Now, when I'm saying that, this is not financial advice. This is your own. Take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. Activision could bounce right here. It's at a nice area, so if anybody wants it, it looks good right there. Now, BABA is one that, has been getting crapped on lately. I keep looking at this weekly. It's back down here at the 130 area, so I'm actually kind of watching for it to reverse. So I'd watch it over, 135 for push to 136, 140, 145. You have gap resistance right here at the 148 area from earnings, so maybe it will try to go up and test the gap resistance right here on BABA. So BABA's just been beaten down so much on the weekly. I wonder what the monthly looks like. I'll go back a couple years, go back 5 years. Yeah, it's pretty beaten down. Last time it was down here was back in January 1st, 2019. So that's a few years away, So yeah. Now, I also have Disney on there. Disney, it did not do that well on Friday. It did gap down, but get Disney Plus, and if the things do end up ramping up with COVID, Netflix, ROKU, Disney, Amazon, they'll end up doing well on the gaming sites. But I don't know. It's kind of premature what's going to happen. I mean, this could end up being just a one-day event and be forgotten about tomorrow. So, but if either or, I would watch it over 149 for push to 150, big psychological number, 155 to 160, and you get gap resistance right here at 165 from earnings. So Disney could end up having a nice reversal, and it's below the weekly 30 RSI, and it's down here in the 20s on the daily. So I would think that Disney was going to have a pretty nice dead cat bounce here at least 155, I think. So I would keep an eye on that. And the last one is Snap. Now Snap's had a pretty big gap down from earnings, and then you have like a bullish divergence right here. RSI is going up as it's making lower lows. To me, that tells me it's reversals coming in. So I would watch it over. You could say $50, $51 for push to 53, 54. Basically, every whole dollar will be resistance, and the BL end all will be at $60 level. We'll try to break the gap resistance, which I don't think it will on the first try. So that's what I would be watching. I think we get a lot of potential for a lot of reversals this week, especially if SPY does bounce. And if Powell doesn't do anything to the market that's going to scare it. And another thing to keep in mind that Powell's always saved the market. He's always endlessly printing money and stuff like that. But the position may have changed now that he's gotten reelected or renominated for Fed chair. So his goals may be different now. He could have been just saving the market, waiting for tapering until he gets renominated. Now that he's back in and he's secured his position, he may announce tapering or something like that. I don't know. I think the position could slightly change. He could be more hawkish. You could say more hawkish statements that could scare the market, mention more tapering. Something's going to be done here sooner or later. I mean, the Fed's getting backed into a corner. It's just that the repos are getting way too much. So something's going to end up happening here pretty soon. So I think I've always been saying in the room that once he gets renominated and secures a seat, that we could end up seeing a different Powell, different tone to his stance and stuff like that. So that's why you need to be in the room. And that's going to do it for the watch list. Hope to see you in the room, and thank you for watching.